Good evening, everyone. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. I'm sorry about that, 2020. Um, we want to inform you of what is going on. This is something that is very important to us, and we want to make that very, very clear to you. We are sorry it took us a little while to come on the air tonight. We were on the phone with Terry Rempel, and we do have a lot of good, clear, and pertinent information to share with you about what is going on. And we hope that you are tuned in here tonight to our show. We hope that you can understand what is actually going on. We hope that you can clearly understand what is going on because it's vital for everybody's safety. It's vital for everybody's health that we clearly understand what is happening. We have to clearly understand what is happening and what is going to happen. Okay? I want to make it perfectly clear that what is going on has been happening for years and years and years. And I'm not just talking about the coronavirus. I'm talking about the tectonics, the plate tectonics, the earthquakes, the tremors, the volcanoes, the magma. This has been going on for years, and what is happening right now has been the end result of everything that's happened before. And yes, that kind of sounds like I'm simplifying things. I'm trying to so everybody will understand what we're saying. We want to make it as clear as possible. We want to make it as clear as possible. Now, there are a lot of things going on. There are a lot of things going on. Please understand that we are trying to get you this information so that you understand it. And yes, I understand it's hard. I completely understand that. But more than anything, folks, we want you to survive what is going on. We do. We want you to survive it. I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. And I understand there are a lot of issues. I totally understand that. And I can understand why people are skeptical. I can understand why people feel scared. But honestly, folks, what are we going to do? Are we going to be scared or are we going to be prepared? Since day one, we've asked people, don't be scared, be prepared. We have told people what they needed to do so they could be prepared. We've talked about preparedness. We talked about preparedness plans. We've shown you preparedness books on how to write an emergency preparedness plan. We have talked about emergency preparedness kits, and I have in fact showed you my own emergency preparedness kit. I haven't shown you my entire family's kit. I have my own 72-hour kit, as does each member of our family. And I've shown you mine. I've almost showed you everything in that kit. There are some personal things that I won't share. But we've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. We have warned you. We have talked with you. We have counseled with you. Things are happening every day on an increased scale. And I couldn't be more clear about everything that's going on. We want people to understand. We want people to understand. Now, I'm going to briefly talk about the coronavirus. The number of reported cases of the coronavirus are over 40,000 people. The number of reported deaths, which is so far not even close to what we believe the real figures are. We've talked about this as well, that the reported deaths are like 1,018. It's far more than that. It's far more than that. We've talked extensively about the people that have been on cruise ships. We told you last night that there are 138 people on the cruise ship over off the coast of Japan. They're not even letting the ship dock. They're taking people off the ship and taking them to medical centers. The people on the ship, there's reported 60 people on board the ship that have now been exposed to the coronavirus. There is one cruise ship that has no one exposed to the coronavirus, where 5 countries have rejected that cruise ship docking at their ports. And that ship is basically running out of fuel and running out of food and other supplies because they haven't been allowed to go to port. Hopefully that will be fixed very soon. That those people and the ship will be able to be refurbished with more food and supplies and things that they need. I shouldn't say refurbished, but they will get what they need. We know that there are people all over the globe that have been exposed and contaminated with the coronavirus. From Europe, Britain, Scandinavia, Africa is the only place that they don't have any reported cases. Why is that? Because I think they're hiding information. They're hiding information. We have some 14 people hospitalized here in the United States. One of those people was in San Diego. One of those people was in San Diego. And right now, I'm going to play for you a news conference showing what happened in San Diego so you'll understand what is going on there. It's very important that you understand what is going on in San Diego, what happened in San Diego. Now I'm trying to bring this up right now. So if you'll just bear with me for a few minutes, I'm going to try to bring you this video. Um, okay, I think I've got it keyed up here. I hope I do. I hope I do. Because I want you to see this. It's pretty important. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, here we go. This is in San Diego,
Okay, do we need to
California
do
this
a
morning.
Sound check. We're all okay? All right. Thank you so very much to each of you for being here today. My name is Dr. Nick Efantides, and I serve as the Chief Medical Officer of San Diego County. As the stewards of our region's health, we brought you here together today because we know there is mounting and significant interest in the novel coronavirus, which as of today, per the World Health Organization, has a new name. It is COVID-19. CO for corona, VI for virus, D for disease, /19. We are also aware that there is great interest in the respective roles within our collaborative efforts in our region with our federal and our local healthcare partners. In a moment, I am going to invite Dr. Eric McDonald, who is the medical director for the county's epidemiology and immunology branch, to make some introductory comments. And after those comments, I am joined by 3 medical colleagues that will collectively answer questions for you all. Dr. Christopher Braden, who is the Deputy Director of the National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infections and Diseases. Dr. Randy Taplitz, who is the Infectious Disease Specialist and the Associate Hospital Epidemiologist from UCSD Health, and our own Dr. Wilma Wooten, the Public Health Officer of the County of San Diego. Our hope and expectation in coming together today is to assure the public that they have the most up-to-date and fact-driven information available. And with that, Dr. McDonald, the microphone is yours.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Eric McDonald, E-R-I-C, M-C, Big D, O-N-A-L-D, and I'm the medical director for the county's Epidemiology and Immunization Services branch. I have served as the county's liaison to the leadership team that's conducting the federal quarantine at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. I would like to state at the outset that we have enjoyed outstanding professional relations with all of those involved in this federal quarantine operation, led by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the HHS, and CDC, with the support of the Marine Base and the U.S. Marshal Service. I'm going to concentrate on the specific county role, and to be clear, the county's role is that of, and that of the San Diego healthcare community is one of support. We are assisting the federal quarantine in 2 areas. First, we assist with the transportation, medical evaluation, and treatment of people under investigation for COVID-19. We call those PUIs. This includes the packaging and shipping of specimens to the CDC lab in Atlanta for testing for this virus. Second, we provide medical care and supplies as needed when the capacity of the medical services in the federal quarantine area are exceeded. So to detail the PUI evaluations that we support, when we are contacted that a PUI, or person under investigation, needs to be isolated at the hospital, we arrange a routine transport for direct admission to the appropriate hospital using CDC recommended guidelines. The hospital providers evaluate and draw samples as indicated using the CDC's guidelines, and they're held in isolation there until CDC communicates the result to the county and our hospital partners. In the event of being informed of a negative result, the evacuee is returned to the base under quarantine by the U.S. Marshals and HHS personnel. We've only had one positive test communicated to us, and this patient was at Miramar at the time, so this person was transported back to the hospital using the same CDC guidelines, and that individual is still isolated there. All other results have been negative or are pending results. I can summarize that there have been 9 persons under investigation involved with the effort at Miramar. One of those is positive, 5 of them are negative, and 3 are currently pending. And I'm not going to answer questions about the specifics of those individuals. It is important to note that all of the evacuees have been in federal quarantine throughout the process, being on base, moving off base, being in the hospital, and then returning to base. No people off the base, besides a few, very few, selected medical professionals, have had contact with these evacuees. There is no exposure to the general public. After all, that's the purpose of quarantine. For medical evaluations not related to POI status off base, there has only been 1 incident. This individual was transported and treated using CDC guidelines, and then later evaluated to be sure that they did not have the COVID-19. We know that that patient, in fact, has a negative result and does not have the virus. That individual was returned to the base and is currently in isolation there. So that's the end of my prepared comments, and I'll let others go ahead and open up for questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. McDonald. With that, we will be happy to entertain some questions. If when asking your questions, you could please identify yourselves. I will call on you and then direct the answer to one of our panelists. Yes, ma'am. Based on patient protection guidelines, there are no other details available. Yes, sir.
Based on this NBC7, can you walk us through the process in which this woman who was tested positive was taken from the hospital back to Miramar, and then what happened overnight, and then back to the hospital? Can you walk us through that? Help us understand what contact was made while there, what contact was made while outside the hospital, and in the hospital.
Thank you very much. I will have Dr. Braden respond to that question.
Yes, so I'm Dr. Christopher Braden, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R, B-R-A-D-E-N. I'm an infectious diseases physician. I work at the CDC. I've been there for over 26 years. So to answer the question about the sequence of events, thank you for asking, because it has caused a bit of confusion, and I'd like to put out the sequence of events so that people can understand what really happened. So this is a woman that was on the first flight that came to Miramar Marine Corps Air Station, and was well on that flight. Actually, when we screened all passengers when they were deboarded that flight, she screened negative. She didn't have any fever. She didn't have any symptoms. She was assigned a room, and that night she had the onset of some scratchy and then cough. every day for every person, we check them for symptoms and fever twice a day. That next morning, when she awoke and she realized that she had this cough, she reported that to us during the symptom check, and she was then transferred to UCSD Medical Hospital for evaluation. During that whole time, during the transfer, during that evaluation, she was under appropriate isolation. So at the hospital, samples were taken. And they go through the hospital laboratory, then they go to the county health laboratory, then they're sent to CDC. So for a number of reasons that we can go into if you want to, but the labels on the specimens actually did not meet some of the requirements for accessioning at CDC into the laboratory. And so they actually didn't go into the testing laboratory at CDC. When we were asking about results, and this is one of the lessons learned about, from us as a field team and also at CDC, we were under, a lot of pressure to get results back, and we were asking for results to be reported back verbally. What we heard was that all the test specimens that were accessioned went to the testing laboratory, and the results back all were negative. And we said, that's great. All the tests are negative, let's take them out of the hospital. They were discharged, we put them in the van. When we get close to the base, we get a text message that says, important message. 3 of those specimens actually didn't go to the testing laboratory. They were never accessioned successfully, and they weren't tested. Okay, so here we are. We're now going back onto the base, and we have this new information, and we decide, okay, we're going to put these people in their rooms, in isolation in their rooms. Instructed not to leave, not to mingle with the general population there at Miramar Base, and we're going to wait for the results of those tests. Well, of course, as luck would have it, it was one of those tests that came back positive. Let me emphasize, there was no fault of the test itself. The test itself was accurate. The issue was that the test wasn't run when we thought it had been. So let me put that kind of misinformation to bed, that the test itself was accurate. So once we get the result back that the test is positive, why then, of course, go through the same process, transport back to UCSD hospitals and back into isolation, and that's where we are today.
Just for clarification, how many people did that woman who tested positive come in contact with in this back and forth? And can you tell us who are those people, or any of them in quarantine?
Right. So we have done a contact investigation, as we would around any positive case. And, we're comfortable that she wasn't symptomatic on the flight over, and she wasn't symptomatic when she was going through all the screening and so forth. So all of those people are not considered contacts, and we're very grateful for that. There was an instance on the way back from the hospital when we thought all the tests were negative and we were transporting. There was actually 4 people that were transferred together, including her. So we have gone through the assessment of what kind of contact does that really constitute. So we would put that into, at most, the middle risk category and probably low risk category of contact, because all the passengers were wearing masks. It was a short duration, and they then went to their individual rooms for isolation. For those particular people who are evacuees, we would likely monitor their health for those additional few days. It doesn't affect the other evacuees that are here at Miramar as far as their quarantine period is concerned.
Okay, folks, we're going to stop this video at this point in time. The reason that we even brought it up was this. We are aware that there have been numerous people throughout the world that have been quarantined. We know that there are numerous people that have issues involving their health with the COVID-19 disease. And at this point in time, I think we're going to call it COVID-19 as well. But we want you all to be perfectly clear. We are keeping a very close eye on what is going on. A very close eye on what is going on. We feel it's absolutely of the utmost importance, I should say, to keep you all informed of what is happening, because no one else is. Literally no one else is. And we have it on good authority that this is what is happening. Now, the reason that they held this press conference in San Diego this morning was to allay any fears that people had that the community of San Diego, which is several million people, back in early 2000, there was probably 2.5 million people in San Diego County, and now it's probably 4 or 5 million. But they wanted to put some fears to bed. The people that were exposed with this woman and that were exposed to this virus have been quarantined. Now, in talking about quarantine, up until yesterday, the powers that be had determined that the quarantine effort would go on for 14 days. Now it has been determined that people may need to be quarantined for up to 24 days, 2 weeks. Actually, more than 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 24 days is almost, well, it's actually 3/4 of a month. 24 days. So I'm not sure the powers that be in San Diego have not come forward and told us of any extenuating circumstances that would lead us to believe that they're going to quarantine this woman or anybody else at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station. We don't know that. We do not know that. What we do know is that we are going to keep an eye on it. We will report to you any different outcomes that happen as a result of the CDC not testing this woman's voluntary samples. And the possible exposure risks. Because there are risks. There are risks throughout this country and throughout the world. But again, we know the risks over in China. There are over 40,000 people that have been exposed to this virus. There are over 1,000 deaths. We know that for a fact. And there are deaths that we believe that are not being reported. We have information coming out of China from the funeral homes involved, the crematoriums, where they're cremating 200 to 700 people a day, which has created smog air quality problems where the satellites have picked up information saying their SO2 levels, the sulfur dioxide levels in those cities and all over China, have risen to such an extent to make appropriate observations necessary that say that because of the cremations, that the SO2 levels have been elevated. And we've seen pictures of the smog, the air quality levels in China. We've also seen Chinese officials running up and down the streets and we showed the video to you. You've seen it here on the Freedom Revolution Network on our program. It's a documentary that we put together for you. You've seen it on our YouTube channel as well. We posted it there. We posted it on our Facebook page. And we're going to be posting it very shortly on our website. We've had some technical problems with the website. We're going to be posting all this information there so you can adequately see it. But what you need to know is that we have made this information available to you. It's also over on DLive, it's over on Periscope, it's over on Twitch, on our Freedom Revolution Network channels. It's been broadcast over on iHeart Network and Pandora. So we have a lot of areas where you can find this video, this documentary we put together. Yesterday we talked extensively about it. And now we've taken additional opportunity. Now we've talked about it for over 30 minutes and showed you a clip of the news conference from San Diego where the person that had contracted COVID-19 had been transported from the hospital back to Miramar Marine Corps Air Station and then back to the hospital and put in isolation. And a number of people that were exposed because of that have also been quarantined for now for an undetermined length of time. So, with that said, we're trying to bring you the information as it becomes available, just as we promised, and that we always have told you that we're going to do. That has not changed. And it's not going to change. Now, we will endeavor to bring you the latest information we possibly can get. At whatever juncture we can get it. We promised you that we would bring you the latest information that we can get. That promise stands. That promise stands. Give me a second, I've got to tighten down this microphone so it'll stay put. All right. I do not have the chat room open right now, and I may do that before the end of our program tonight. We would normally be on the air only until 8 p.m., but we're going to extend out because we didn't get started until after 7 o'clock tonight. We were busy on the phone with Terry Rumpel. Now, I will be giving you the information that Terry passed on to me very shortly. But I needed to show you what is going on so that you would have the information necessary to make your own determinations of what you need to do, where we're at today with seismic earthquakes that are happening, seismic energy, and we're going to report that to you. Now, I'm not going to go into huge monster detail meaning 1s and 2 earthquakes. I will be touching on the major earthquakes that have happened today. I'm going to show you where those earthquakes are right now so you can be aware of what is happening. Again, I believe you deserve to have that information. Earlier today, I'm going right now to use the USGS map, United States Geological Survey map. We typically get information from USGS and the EMSC, European Agency, and we frequently get information from other agencies, and when we do, we'll pass that information on to you. You can access that information from our show page, the Emergency Management Associates show page. We have outlined where we get our information so you can look up the information yourself. Earlier today, we had a large 5.2 magnitude earthquake over here in Ohoonatanga. Large 5.2 was offshore from the Tongan Islands, 141 kilometers, approximately 85 miles southeast of Ohoonatanga. As you can see, it was only 55 kilometers deep. So by all intents and purposes, this was a semi-shallow quake. Not quite totally shallow, but a semi-shallow quake. One of the other larger quakes that happened today was also a mid-range 5.4, another large earthquake south of the Fiji Islands. Now, this particular earthquake, folks, was 477 kilometers deep. I am going to bring up the depth of magnitude conversion chart that we are allowed to use by Rebecca and Bella, or Bella and Rebecca, who have accessed the chart for me and have allowed me to use it for presentations to you. Now, with that said, I'm now going to show you that chart as soon as it comes up here. Go figure. I should have brought it up before we even got on the broadcast, but I was busy talking with Terry and getting information from him. But here you see it. Okay, this earthquake was 478 kilometers beneath the surface of the earth. So it's between 475 here on the chart, 480. Let's take it to 480. It's closer to that. So we're going to have to add a 0.95 magnitude to this earthquake. 0.95. In other words, basically a full magnitude. A full magnitude to this earthquake. This is over in south of Fiji, 5.4. So adding a full magnitude of 1.0, or even in this case, a 0.95. That's going to put this earthquake, that's going to come out of this earthquake. A deep earthquake, folks, is going to result in a shallower, more stronger earthquake. For all intents and purposes, as I've used that phrase a little bit ago, 0.95, this is going to at least be a 6.3, if not another 6.4 earthquake. Now, where is that going to go? Either over here in Vanuatu, if you see where my cursor is, right on this earthquake fault, or over here in the Solomon Islands, right over here, more likely Vanuatu because we have an earthquake over here in Papua New Guinea today, and it's a 5.3. Also a fairly shallow earthquake, 53 kilometers beneath the surface of the earth, approximately 35 miles south-southeast of Kimbe, Papua New Guinea, is off the northern coast of Papua New Guinea. So this 6.3, 6.4 earthquake will probably occur over here in Vanuatu, probably in the next 72 hours to 7 days. We could even give it 10 days. But there's going to be a more powerful earthquake as a result of this 5.4 in Fiji, south of Fiji Islands today. There's also a 4.8 magnitude earthquake south of the Fiji Islands. This one was 544 kilometers beneath the surface, a very deep earthquake. So let's go back to the depth to magnitude conversion chart. .544 kilometers. Closest we have is going to be 545, so we'll take it. It's going to be at probably at least a 1.08 to a 1.09. Okay. So with that, 544 kilometers deep, we're going to add a 1.09 to this. Folks, that's going to also take this. It's also going to take this to at least a 6.1 to 6.2. Okay, you can see that. Adding on a 1.09, it's going to hump it up to 5.08, or excuse me, 5.8 to 5.9, and it could go up as much as a 6.0. Okay, so we have two earthquakes, two very strong earthquakes that are going to be coming from these two earthquakes today. Two very strong sixes that are going to be coming from this earthquake today. So we've talked about that. We're going over here to the Mariana Islands, Northern Mariana Islands, where we had a 5.3 magnitude earthquake today. 5.3 magnitude earthquake today. Now, this earthquake happened 237 kilometers east-northeast of Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands. Now, I have more information here. So just bear with me just a quick second. I'm going to find this information for you. Okay, that's not the information that I wanted. That's not either. I'm going to get this information. Get to this information. I will just click through. I want to show you some more information here. Here it is. Okay, this is from the Solomon Islands. No, actually, this is not the information I needed. That was from the Solomon Islands. This would have showed that 5.3 magnitude earthquake right here that hit over here in Papua New Guinea today. That's that earthquake right there. Okay, but I want to go over here to Northern Mariana Islands. This is the earthquake that I wanted to show you. Okay, this is that 5.3 earthquake in the Northern Mariana Islands today. You can see it lasted for quite some time. It lasted for quite some time. It was indeed a 5.3. It lasted for a very long time. You can see how long it lasted. Okay. It may have been even a little bit higher than 5.3, but we'll take it with 5.3. Okay. But that was the Northern Mariana Islands. Now I'm going to go back here to the Hawaiian Islands, right here. I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this. Here we are at Kipapa, Hawaii. Okay, we've been telling you and showing you the earthquakes in Hawaii that have been happening on the Big Island. This shows you the magma infill that's going on the Big Island. On the Big Island. You can see it. This was today. This was today. Okay. Now, we know for a fact that there's a lot of activity. Pahala is where probably 95% of the activity has been. As we have told you from our research, that the reason there have been so many earthquakes at Pahala, it's connected to the volcanic magma that's coming into the system at Kilauea. That's why we've had so many earthquakes in Hawaii. Now, I'm going to get away from this since I just showed you that map, that seismo of the Big Island here. I'm going to go over to the EMSC map, and I'm going to show you the earthquakes in Hawaii. I'm going to show you the earthquakes in Hawaii. Okay, we've had 20 earthquakes in Hawaii today on the Big Island. 20 plus earthquakes on the Big Island in Hawaii. Yesterday we had 20 plus earthquakes just over here in Pahala, right here in Pahala. Now they have 10 plus earthquakes there. It continues, folks. And right now we also show at least 5 earthquakes offshore from Pahala. There's 4 of them right there, and there's another one further south. We'll get to that in just a minute. Up here north, we have a 2.70 and a 2.64. Now this is offshore, southeast of Pahala. All of these are. Here's a 2.37. This is a 2.28. These are minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. And then this one was further south and east, a 1.65 off of Pahala. Now, as you can see, so I'm going to show you right here, these earthquakes off the coast of Pahala, or right offshore, literally, in the volcanic region that made the Big Island in the first place. Of course, there's going to be more magmatic and volcanic activity because that's what or how the Hawaiian Islands were built. That's how the Hawaiian Islands were built. But these earthquakes over in Pahala, I just pulled some of them up here, and we still have a good number of earthquakes we haven't even revealed yet. Okay? They said there was 10 plus. There's still more than 10 plus, and we've already come up with 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, at least 8 of them. On the south end of Pahala, a 2.08 and a 1.89. Now, I'm not going to cover all of them. I promise you that. This is the 1.89 down there. The only reason I'm pointing these out, folks, you need to be aware of what's going on in Hawaii because Kilauea is refilling. Kilauea is refilling. Here is the rest of the swarm. The rest of the swarm. I'm just going to hit some of them. 2.75, 1.86, 1.96. There's the 2.75 there. Doggone it all. There's a 2.13. Going further north here, 1.86. 2.16 here, also just north of Pahala. Okay, going further north at 2.47. Now that's as far north as the Pahala earthquakes take us. But as we know, there's Kilauea without any earthquakes around it today. The first time in some time. There's Kilauea up here. There's the earthquakes down there. That gives you a reference point to where Pahala is in relationship to Kilauea. Okay. Now north and east of Kilauea, along the coast, there's a place called Fern Acres. This is where the next earthquake is. It's a 2.58 near Fern Acres. 2.58. Over this area is Leilani Estates in what they call the East Rift Zone. East Rift Zone. Fern Acres, Leilani Estates. Okay. Leilani Estates is where 700 homes were destroyed by the magma that came out of 24 fissures. Okay. That's what happened there. Now, we've also had 2 other earthquakes over on the northern part of the island. This will happen at Honokoka, H-O-N-O-K-O, or excuse me, H-O-N-O-K-A, Hawaii 2.61. This is north of Mauna Loa. This is north of Mauna Loa. Mauna Loa is further down here. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute. Then over on the north end of the island, slightly offshore, is a 2.17. A 2.17, slightly offshore on the north part of the Big Island. Okay, 4 miles east northeast of Honokoa, Hawaii. Okay, down here this is Mauna Loa. That is a crater at Mauna Loa. These earthquakes to the north are quite a distance from the crater of Mauna Loa. So we want to show you the relationship of those earthquakes as well. So we've had closer to 30 earthquakes, most of them around Pahala here, where it says 20 plus earthquakes. And then 2 earthquakes up on the north end of the island that may be related to Mauna Loa. I don't know. I have not been able to do the research to confirm that. So I'm not even going to go there. I just want to make you aware of what is going on there in Hawaii. Now I'm going to touch on what is going on over here in Alaska and the Aleutian Islands. Today near Attu Station, we had what has been turned down to a 4.9. It's been downgraded to a 4.9 near Attu Station, ATTU Station, on the western part of the Aleutian Islands. Okay, 4.9, 5.0 magnitude quake over here. Now this was 57 miles west southwest of Attu Island in the northern Pacific. And this was west southwest of Attu Station. Attu Station is this island right here. So that 5.0 basically was not near land, but it was near this island here. Okay. There's the island in relationship to the earthquake. Again, this was in the Aleutian Islands here. This is the Aleutian Island fault, the fracture zone, if you will. Okay, that was the only earthquake that they are reporting in the Aleutian Islands. There are hundreds of minor earthquakes in the Aleutian Islands and all over the earth. But that's the one that they reported. And we want to keep you up to date on what is going on because we're expecting a larger earthquake still in Alaska. We've had tons of large earthquakes up into mid-range 6 in the Aleutian Island chain. And yet Alaska still has not had anything more than swarms. Okay? But we're trying to keep you abreast of what's going on in Alaska. Over near Anchor Point, which is near, just south of Mount Redoubt, we have had a minor earthquake. And then we had a 2.2 near Mount Redoubt. There's a 2.2 near Mount Redoubt, the volcano, that up until the beginning of last week was steaming. A steam eruption of Mount Redoubt. It wasn't just a steam plume. It wasn't just a steam puff. It was continuous steaming for days. It was a steam eruption at Mount Redoubt. Now, as you can see right here, we have some earthquakes in and around the Anchorage area and south of Anchorage. Big Lake, Alaska, 1.0. Anchorage, 10 miles south-southwest of Anchorage, a 2.4. A 2.4. And south of there, a 3.2. I'm sorry. Here is the 3.2 just south of Anchorage. So, folks, we're seeing 3.2 just south of Anchorage. Above that, north of that, we've seen some 1s and 2s. So we're seeing some small earthquake energy. By small, an increase in seismic energy over near Anchorage. Now, we've reported on Mount McKinley. We don't have any direct hits on Mount McKinley. They're on the east and the west side and the north side of Mount McKinley today. These are minor earthquakes, 1.6, 1.6, 1.8, 1.3, 1.3, minor earthquakes on either side of Mount McKinley today. North of Mount McKinley, North Pole, Alaska, we've had a 1.0. A 1.0 there. Okay, Kobuk, Alaska. Kobuk, Alaska, near Kobuk. In what they call Huslia, Alaska, southwest of Kobuk, we have a 3.3. What this earthquake is an actual aftershock from the 6.3 that happened last year about this same time period. So we've had an aftershock there. Now, there's nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on up here in the Arctic Circle area or over on the North Shore at Katavik or Prudhoe Bay. Nothing. Okay? Nothing's going on. Over on the eastern side of Alaska, southeastern side of Alaska, Yakataga or Cape Yakataga, Alaska, 1.8, 1.6, 1.9, 1.5, 4 earthquakes, minor earthquakes over there in southeast Alaska today. Nothing is recorded. Nothing is recorded up and down British Columbia here. Not a thing in British Columbia. USGS had no earthquakes at all reported up here in northern Washington. But here we have a 0.13 at Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens, a 1.03. Or excuse me, a 0.13. A 0.13, I'm sorry. A 0.13. Now, I'm getting tired of wearing my hat. Now, I want to take you over and show you what is going on with, and that's not it. That was Hawaii that we showed you here. I probably should not have done that. Right here. I have taken my liberties to show you what is going on over at Mount Redoubt. This is Mount St. Helens here. There is that 0.13 earthquake here. Okay, Mount St. Helens. This is the East Dome at Mount St. Helens. Okay, we see magmatic infill going on. You can see it here. And you can see it here at approximately 3 o'clock this morning. This was last night. This up here was last night. About 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. This is about 12:30 this morning. This is since 3 o'clock this morning here. You can even see some magmatic infill right in here before 3 o'clock, but it became heavier starting about 3:15 this morning. 3:10, 3:15 this morning, and it continued. It continued. Mount St. Helens. Okay. Now I'm going to take you back to earlier today. This is at 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock. This is at 4 o'clock, and then for some reason they didn't record anything, then a blip here, and then it continued, and it's continuing on right now. This is 1700, it's 5 o'clock today. They have not been updating this. They're 3 hours behind. Why? Because we're showing this to you. I'm sure of it. This is PNSM. Okay, we're showing this to you. Again, this is right up to almost up to date within the last 2 hours, 3 hours, last 3 hours. And then they stopped recording this. Okay. And I updated this just as we came to this particular screen. So it's current. They're just not up to date with the information. Now, this is Mount Rainier Voigt Creek. This was on the 8th of the month, just 3 days ago. We reported this 4.7 earthquake just off of Coos Bay, Oregon, over at the intersection of the Blanco fracture zone and the Gorda Ridge. Okay, look at all the magma infill here. Okay, let's go back to current. Okay, let's go back to current. This, well, hold it. I'm sorry. That is not current. We're going, that we went back a day. We want to go forward. Okay, we're still on the 8th. This is the 9th. 2 days ago, you can see that Mount St. Helens was steaming. All of these are steam bursts. There's magma infill going on, but all these are steam bursts. Okay? Steam bursts. Now this right here is probably, it's a different signature, it's not an earthquake. This is probably the signature of a lahar, L-A-H-A-R, a lahar in Mount St. Helens. Okay, let's go forward again. Let's go to the 10th. This is yesterday. You still see all these steam bursts. Mount St. Helens is steaming. And it steamed through yesterday evening. Okay. We have a lahar there yesterday. Let's go forward again. This is today. You can see the steaming events all day long. Since yesterday at 4 o'clock, into early this morning, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, all day today. There's another lahar right there. Steam bursts, magma infill. See these red lines, these blue lines? Magma infill. This is the map up until about 3:45 today. 1500 hours Pacific time is 3 p.m. Pacific time. And it continued. Let's go forward up until current. What is happening right now? Mount Rainier. Look at the steam bursts. We have some magma infill here, but every one of these, the spike up and down, steam bursts, folks. Steam burst, steam burst, steam burst, continually happening. And again, they're only letting us see what has happened through about 7:10, 7:15 today, 1900 to 7 p.m. It's already 8:25. They're not showing us everything. Mount Rainier. There's Mount St. Helens we talked about. Mount Hood, folks. We have a lahar. We have magma infill. That's what we're seeing here. Heavy duty magma infill going on. And this was today. This is last night. The steam or this lahar was this happened at 6 o'clock, approximately 6 p.m. last night. This is today. This is today as of 1500 and past, all but up to 6 o'clock. You can see the magma infill going on here at Mount Hood. Let's go to present. This is Osberger Mountain. We're looking at Mount Hood. We have another lahar at Mount Hood. Okay, 6 o'clock, 1800 hours, 6 p.m. About 6:10 this evening, we had a lahar on Mount Hood. Okay, you see the infill going on, the red, the black, the blue, the green. All this is magma infill. Okay, why am I talking about lahars? Because I've had numerous people contact me today and yesterday telling me that there were avalanches or landslides being reported on Mount Rainier. I just showed you. I've just showed you on Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Hood these lahars. I've showed you the lahars. They're not landslides, folks. They're not avalanches. What is happening beneath the volcano? What is happening beneath the volcano is this. We have magma, and you can see it. You can see it, magma infill going on inside the volcano. It's heating up the earth and inside and going toward the outside of the volcano. It's heating up the earth, the rock, which is melting the underlayer of snow, which is forcing all that snow, ice, and earth to fall and go down the mountain. It's called a lahar. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with the landslide. Now, what is happening, folks, is this. The magma, and let me go pull up another picture and I'll show you this picture in just a minute as soon as I have it up. Show you this picture just as soon as I have it up. It's coming up right now. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of Mount Rainier steaming. You'll notice up here, that is rock, that is not snow. This is rock, not snow. We see snow here. We see snow right in here and here. But see all this? This is bare rock. This is bare rock from the magma underneath the surface that is heating up that area. And we have steam coming from the summit. Now, the powers that be told one of our associates there in Washington, oh, that's blowing snow off the summit. Does this look like blowing snow? No, not a chance. Not even. Okay. Let me go to the next one, the next picture here. Let me show you the next picture here. Okay. I'm hoping this will come through here. Okay, as soon as it processes here, I'll bring it up. Okay, I'm going to hold it for just a second. Okay, I'm going to halt it right there. Okay. Hold on for a second. I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to show you this. Apparently, I'm having a little bit of an issue with this. Just a second. Nope, it's not doing it. Darn it. Okay, why am I not able to show you this? Just bear with me for a minute, folks. We're going to try to solve this so we can show you this. I may have to do it another way here. Okay, I'm going to do it another way. Let's do this. I hope you can see this. Okay, this is Mount Rainier steaming. You can see some steam there. You can see it coming out from the summit here. The wind's blowing the steam off the back side of the mountain here. Okay, that's what's going on. I hope you saw that. I hope you saw that. I hope you saw that. That was January 3rd, Mount Rainier. Steam blowing off the top of the summit. The video. I showed you a still picture and I showed you a video of the steam coming off the summit of Mount Rainier. That's what's happening today. They're still steaming. It's steaming significantly as we showed you in these seismograms. Okay. Now the next one I'm going to show you is Ellensburg, Eastern Washington. Ellensburg, Eastern Washington. Okay, this is Eastern Washington. Okay, this is yesterday at 4 o'clock, 1600 hours, going through midnight early this morning. You can see the magma infill going on, the bursts here. More magma infill going on 5 o'clock this morning. And then all day today through just about 6 o'clock today. Okay, let's go up to present. This is Eastern Washington. This is about 9:35. Excuse me, not 7:35 today. The transmission ended here on the seismogram. You can see the huge bursts here. Magma infill going on all day. Literally all day. This one is Jordan Valley. This one is Jordan Valley. JORV. Now this one just happens to be Oregon. Eastern Oregon here. This was yesterday, starting yesterday at 6 p.m. yesterday. Look at all this magma infill going on. Look at all the infill going on, folks. All day today, last night, yesterday evening, last night, all day today. Heavy magma infill going on. Let's bring it up to current. Okay. We showed you Mount Hood earlier. This is Eastern Oregon. It's still going on as of about 9:30 tonight. Not 9:30, 7:30 tonight. We haven't even got to 9:30 yet. 7:30 tonight. You can see exactly what is going on. Magma infill is still going through Eastern Oregon. And yet, they're not reporting anything in Washington or Oregon. We've showed you the volcanoes steaming off. We've shown you the lahars that they have claimed to be avalanches or landslides. It's lahars. It's lahars. We showed you this in Hawaii. In Hawaii. We showed you the Mariana Islands having their earthquake there. This is all magma infill going on over on the Big Island. You can see it. You can see it. Okay. That is what's happening. That's what's happening. Now we showed you that earthquake over at Mount St. Helens, 0.13. They do have that listed here, but that's all. They showed you nothing at Mount Hood, Mount Rainier, or anything. And yet we showed you the activity going on. We showed you. Let's go over to Yellowstone. This is up at Polson, Montana, northern Montana, a minus 0.81, meaning it's the earthquake happened up inside the mountain. Up inside the mountain there. Southeast of there. This is in Lincoln, Montana, a 1.25 today. Further south, Dillon, Montana, we have a 1.40. 1.40. Southeast of there, Lima, Montana, 0.8. Just east of there, 10 miles northeast of Old Faithful, we have a 0.36 earthquake. 0.36. Those are the reported earthquakes at Yellowstone. If you want to get more information about what really happened in Yellowstone, Mary Greeley is very kindly reporting all that information. Okay, but there's magma in them there hills in Yellowstone. 11 Grand Canyons in size is the Yellowstone magma chamber. Okay. Anyway, over in central Utah today, Price, Utah, which we will say that there's a mine going on, coal mining going on near Price, Utah. We had a 1.18 magnitude earthquake, which may have had something to do with the mining going on. Some shafts, mine shafts collapse. That might have been what that earthquake was about, Price, Utah. Southwest of there, in Huntington, Utah, we had a 1.59, which has nothing at all to do with mining. Nothing at all to do with mining. Let me zoom in here and I'll show you where that area near Huntington, Utah is. Okay, this is the earthquake. Notice where this earthquake is. It's in a volcanic field, just south of a volcanic field. Can you say bingo? Bingo. We don't have any oil and gas pumping operations going on. This has to do with volcanism. That's what Huntington, Utah, there is volcanism going on in them there mountains. Okay, south and west of there in Moapa Town, Nevada, we had a 2.2. Okay, that's out there in Nevada. That happens. You notice the 20 plus earthquakes over here in the geysers. We know what that is. That's a geothermal area that man's drilled into the surface to pull steam out of the Clear Lake volcano to provide steam to turn turbines to provide electricity to 4 different power companies in California. Northwest of there, up just east of the Gorda Escarpment, we had a 2.06 earlier today. This was at 4:03 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The 2.03, this just happens to be in the Mendocino Hills area, just east of the Gorda Escarpment here. But yet, stand by, folks. Right here, the Gorda Escarpment and the San Andreas Fault, we have a 1.77 magnitude earthquake. San Andreas Fault starts right there at the Gorda Escarpment and goes down the coast of California and into California right there. There you have it. Okay, we do have earthquakes there. Cold Springs, Nevada, southeast of there. We have 2 earthquakes there, a 0.4 and a 0.6. South of there, Mammoth Mountain, folks. We have a swarm of earthquakes around Mammoth Mountain. Now, 0.12, 0.33, 0.13, 0.67, 1.06, all over Mammoth. Over Mammoth. Now, folks, we have more earthquakes all over Mammoth. I'm going to go back to the Berkeley Seismology Department. I'm trying to bring it up now to show you what is going on at Mammoth. So if you'll just stand by with me for a minute, we're going to show you that information. Just a minute. I hope I didn't get rid of it. I don't think I did. Here we go. Let me show you this information here. This is Mammoth Mountain. You can see the magma infill going on. Minor earthquakes here. Something minor. This was at 7 p.m. yesterday. Okay. This is going through early this morning, 5 o'clock this morning. You can see the minor earthquakes here at 11:15, 11 o'clock, 11:10, 11:15 this morning. There's minor earthquakes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and probably 12 right there. I believe this is just magma here. This is a minor earthquake, a tremor here. Okay, that was this morning. Here's another one this afternoon at 4. Well, this one probably about 4:20 p.m. today. Okay, and then this continued through 5:50. 5:50, they stopped reporting this. Okay, so there you have Mammoth. There you have Mammoth. So I showed you all those areas. Okay, that's what's going on in Mammoth. I wanted you to see for yourself. I showed you the seismos at Mammoth. Here's the earthquakes, the corresponding earthquakes. Okay, Mammoth Mountain. All right. Let's go down to Squaw Valley, southwest of there, at 2.16 today, Squaw Valley, California. We go down the coast, just almost straight west to just east of the Monterey Bay area. Aromas, California, we have a 2.0. 2.0 south of there. Tres Pinos, we have a 1.22. Where 6 months ago we had a 4.7 that was really a 5.1. Tres Pinos today a 1.22. South of there, Parkfield, California, the earthquake capital of California, with a minus 0.12. This earthquake was up inside of a hill above sea level. Above sea level at Parkfield, Utah. Earthquake capital of California. Not Parkfield, Utah. Parkfield, California, I'm sorry. Parkfield, California. Now, we've had Squaw Valley that we reported to you just a few minutes ago. We had more earthquakes in Southern California. Cozo Junction. Starting up here at Cozo Junction and going straight almost southwest. Okay, Cozo Junction 0.95, Little Lake, California, a 1.14, and then constant, huge swarm activity from there south. South to Ridgecrest, got a 1.89. I'm sorry, 1.5. I'm sorry, that was a 1.5 at Ridgecrest, 1.24 Trona, California, with a 1.52. Large swarm of earthquakes from Cozo Junction to Trona, California. Okay, that same area that was hit by those 6.9s and 7.1 over in Ridgecrest that caused the swarming before and after those quakes. It's still swarming today. South of the Garlock Fault in Boron, we have a 1.71. The Garlock is right here, running towards Los Angeles. Okay. Over towards Mojave, on the south side of the Garlock, we have a 1.11. On the north side of the Garlock, California City, we have a 1.14. On the southwest end of the Garlock, again, Mojave at 1.11, Mojave, California. Then we drop further down on the San Andreas Fault, Little Creek, California, 1.81. Then we go to a swarm over in the Anza Gap area. Swarming in the Anza Gap, Riverside, California area. Okay. Let's go over to Rancho San Diego, east of Ramona, California. Negotiator and I both know where this is. Rancho, California, 0.83, just north and east of Ramona, California. Okay. Let's go further east. Further east. We've got some earthquakes in Borrego Springs, North San Diego County, a 2.91 magnitude earthquake. Borrego Springs, Northeast San Diego County, up in the mountains. 2.91, almost a 3. Pine Valley is 0.79, again in the mountains, east of San Diego City, San Diego County. Then we drop over to the east side of the Chocolate Mountains, a 1.20 in Ocotillo Wells, near Ocotillo Wells on the east side of the Chocolate Mountains. This is the Salton Sea, folks. The Salton Sea. Over on the southeast, well, not even the southeast, south side of the Salton Sea, Calipatria, California. We've had an earthquake there. This earthquake there, actually 2 earthquakes, one a 1.31 and a 1.33 in Calipatria. What do we have there in Calipatria? We've talked about this before. We've talked about this one before. We've got a geothermal power plant, folks. We have a geothermal power plant that's drawing steam from the Salton Sea volcano, Salton Butte volcano. There it is right there, closer up. It's right next to the earthquakes, drawing steam from the Salton Butte volcano to provide power to the generators, the steam, not generators, providing steam to the turbines to generate power through the turbines for the people in Imperial Valley and probably Southern California. Bingo, bango, boingo. That's why we had an earthquake right near there. Okay. There is the power plant. There is the earthquake, the earthquakes. Okay. Right near the Salton Butte volcano. Okay. Now we showed you. Now you've seen it. Okay. Now you've seen it. That's what happened today. That's what happened today in Southern California. We've talked about Utah. Let's go talk about Van Horn, Texas. We had a 2.5 there in Van Horn. Again, oil and gas drilling in Van Horn, Texas. Let's go over to Oklahoma. We're not through here. Okay, now it's 9 o'clock. Haven't quite been here 2 hours, but I don't want to stop at this point. We've got a lot, well, a few more things we need to talk about here. Just a few more things to talk about. I'm just checking some things here. Okay, good. Oklahoma, folks. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 earthquakes. 0.36 in Moreland, Oklahoma. Just south and east of there, also in Moreland, we have another 1.97. East of there, Helena, Oklahoma, we have a 0.61. Just east of there, in Helena as well, 2.01. 2 earthquakes in Helena. Just east of there, in Enid, E-N-I-D, Oklahoma, we have a 1.48. Again, these are in the middle of oil and gas pumping operations. Oil and gas pumping operations. Now, the powers that be over in Enid told these people to quit drilling because Enid was getting hit with earthquake after earthquake about a year ago. And you can go check the internet, look it up. Powers that be told them to quit drilling. Well, once you've got a hole in the ground, it's going to attract seismic energy. They can quit drilling now, and there's still going to be earthquakes. There's still going to be earthquakes there. They've got them there. Almost directly south of there in Tuttle, Oklahoma. We've talked about this all this week. Tuttle, Oklahoma is still getting hit. A 0.76 earthquake. Minor earthquake. A minor earthquake there in Tuttle. Then just northeast of there, in Stroud, Oklahoma, that's gotten hit before, is 0.76 there. Right here, Stroud, Oklahoma, 0.76. Okay, that's not all, folks. There's more. There's more. I'm almost finished. I'm almost finished. There were 5 earthquakes over here in Tennessee and North Carolina. Okay, this first one, Sweetwater, Tennessee, a 1.61. Now, all of these earthquakes are minor, very minor earthquakes. Number one, they're on the southeast end of the North American craton. Okay, the southeast end of the North American craton. And you can see the craton edge right here. There's the craton edge, folks. That's where these earthquakes came from. The craton edge. Now, 4 more earthquakes. Greenback, Tennessee, 1.44. Southeast of there. Also in Greenback, a 1.57. Excuse me. A 1.57, also in Greenback, Tennessee. South of that earthquake, also in Greenback, a 1.29. So we've had 3 earthquakes in Greenback. Okay. We have 1 more earthquake down here. This also, they say, is in Greenback, Tennessee, a 1.70. A 1.70. Again, these are on the southeast craton, the southeast North American craton. Now, where are these earthquakes coming from? Okay, you may ask, where are these earthquakes coming from? Why are we having earthquakes there? Folks, remember what has gone on over in Oklahoma this past week? We had one place, I believe it was Stroud, I might be wrong, but one of the towns in Oklahoma had a 4, had a 4.0, a moderate earthquake. The earthquakes are following the craton. They're following the craton edge. They're following the craton edge. Now, I'm going to pan out here. Okay. Again, these are on the craton edge. You can see it. Now this craton goes all the way up through or by the eastern seaboard, inland from the ocean, inland from the Atlantic, and goes all the way up into Canada. That's where these earthquakes are coming from. See where these earthquakes in Oklahoma are? The craton goes back down this way, down through the New Madrid area, and goes back out up into Tennessee and over to North Carolina, South Carolina area, and goes right up the craton, and you can see it. You can see the craton go straight up here. Okay, that's why they had earthquakes. Now these are only minor earthquakes. These are ones. Should I say, should I ask, should you be concerned about these earthquakes? Only that they happened. Unless they become larger than ones and progressively get larger, go from ones to twos to threes to fours, then you can be concerned. If all of a sudden the amount of earthquakes and the magnitude increases, then you need to be concerned. Okay. Now, I want to go back here to California. Why? In my speaking with Terry today, he and other associates are looking and researching what you need to know when Cascadia goes, and the Cascadia earthquake is going to impact the western coast of the United States, Washington, Oregon. It will trigger, the Cascadia earthquake will trigger the San Andreas Fault. And then from that point on, folks, we've already spoken about it. It's going to create havoc and destroy California as we know it. It's going to destroy California as we know it. They are working right now, putting together risk assessments for what is going to happen and how you can escape from Southern California and go up into Northern California and then go to points north and east if you want to. But if you try, and we will have maps soon, but if you try to go up Interstate 5, which is basically right along the San Andreas Fault, even up until San Francisco, you're going to be right on top of the earthquakes. Major destruction. Major destruction. Now we're going to produce maps, pictures, showing you how to evacuate California when it happens. Terry said a long time ago that when Cascadia goes, you're not going to recognize California. And you need to be aware of it. You need to make plans. Those people that prepare are going to survive. We talked and talked and talked about getting emergency preparedness plans in order now. Now, emergency preparedness plans are going to be essential for your survival, along with emergency preparedness kits, food supplies. We talked about My Patriot Foods, My Patriot Supply. They are advertisers for the Freedom Revolution Network here on Emergency Management Associates. Be advised to have at minimum a 72-hour kit is going to be essential for every person in your family, in your business, in your work group, in your circle of friends. You can get more than just 72 hours worth of food, and FEMA recommends 3 weeks minimum, 3 weeks to 3 months. Because when a major event happens, it's not if, it's when any major event happens, they are not going to be able to help you. If you're able to get to a supermarket, the store shelves will be vacant within hours. Either people will buy it or steal it from the stores. And there will be no refilling the supplies in the stores. If you can't get to the stores hardly even during the earthquake yourself, how do you expect trucks to resupply the stores? Not going to happen. So you need to take that information and use it as you will. Get your food now. Put together your supplies now. You need to do it, folks. We've been talking about this. The only thing holding off Cascadia, the only thing holding off the other earthquakes that are going to happen in California are prayers. Literally. We've been talking and talking about this, folks. It's going to happen. We keep showing you the seismos. And there's a lot more than this. Hundreds of seismos we could show you. And we have shown you during past weeks and months. They haven't stopped. They've even gotten more frequent, as you can see. And the volcanoes having steam bursts. We showed you Mount Rainier's. We showed you about a week and a half ago what happened at Mount Redoubt in Alaska. Now my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? We have a book called It's a Disaster and What Are You Going to Do About It? We have had numerous viewers and listeners who have requested copies of it, who sent us the $20 that's needed for the book, including shipping. The $20 includes shipping, and we'd ship it to you. We have only a handful of books left, literally. And we'll still ship it to you if you want. But after they're gone, I'll try to get hold of more, but I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee it. At this point in time, these books that I have may be it. I don't know for sure. We might be able to order more, we might not be able to. But we've talked to you about emergency supplies, preparedness kits, and emergency preparedness plans. Folks, you need to do it now. The time is now. Every day that you delay is on you. We keep warning you. The time is far spent. There is little time remaining. Do it now, please. Folks, we appreciate all of you being here with us. We're going to end this broadcast now without even taking questions. We may be on later tomorrow morning and talk to you and take questions from you. We'll bring up the YouTube channel, the D Live and others where we can talk to you and field questions. But right now, we've given you a lot of information. We've actually run overtime. We didn't start until 7:20, and now it's 9:15. We've nearly gone 2 hours. And I apologize for starting late. I apologize for that. But there's good reason for it. I've given you the briefing that Terry gave me earlier. He's not coming on back on the Freedom Revolution Network. He's going to pass information on to me, and I'm going to pass it on to you. Soon we'll have maps showing evacuation routes out of California into Northern California and points east. Like I said, if you're west of the San Andreas, you better not even think of going that way on the western side of the San Andreas. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to. East or west of the Sierras, Sierra Nevada, nada. Nada. Folks, you need to think about it and think about it hard. I told you what's going on with the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Be aware of it, or COVID-19, I'm sorry, COVID-19. Make your plans now. Check if you don't have masks, get on Amazon, get on Wish. Wish, it's coming out of China, and you're out of luck because they can't even supply masks for their own country right now. They're advertising on Wish, but I'll bet you can't get them for 2 months, 6 months, if then. Check your stores, check Amazon. That's your best bet. But get your supplies now. There's a little time left. The coronavirus is flying. Transmissions person to person. I've been told there's 14 cases in the United States. I believe there's a lot more than that. We've got people at Travis Air Force Base. We've got people at March Air Force Base. We've got people at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station in San Diego. These air bases are in California. There are 19 others throughout the United States. 19 others throughout the United States. I thought I had some more information I was going to try to pass on to you. But I'm not sure it's here anymore. Okay, I told you about the earthquakes in Tennessee near the North Carolina border. Told you about that. I'm going to show you something here, and I hope that it does not offend you. just lost it. Well, doggone it. I thought I was going to show it to you. Darn, darn, darn. Oh. Well, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it and I will show it to you another time. I'll show it to you another time. I may have saved it here. I'm going to look one other place. One other place real quick. Nope, I don't think I have it. I don't think I have it. Nope, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I don't have that. Doggone. All right. All right. Anyway, that's what's going on tonight. I hope you all have enjoyed our broadcast and you've got information out of it that you can use for yourselves, your family, and your business, and your friends. Please pass this important information along. You need to pass it along. It's vital for everyone's survival. Cascadia is going to happen. The coronavirus is here. We now have 11 military bases that are going to be used as quarantine areas for anyone that's even thinks, or the powers that be, even think that may have COVID-19. You need to prepare. We've said that over and over. Ask the Lord to bless you, folks. And please do know that we love you, each and every one of you. As Walter Cronkite has said, and that's the way it is. Tuesday, February 11th, Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. For Emergency Management Associates, this is Ron Tyler. I hope you have a wonderful night. We will be back and give you more information as it becomes available to us. We are not going to hold back any information from you. We're going to bring it to you as soon as the information avails itself to us, meaning becomes available to us. We'll see you very soon. For Emergency Management Associates, this is Ron Tyler. Have a good evening, folks. Good night, everybody.